For the next step of the process, you're going to be looking at how much space you want to give between the artworks and around the artworks for the mat. So for this process, because we're cutting multiple windows in one piece of mat board, we're using a special mat cutter. It's a Logan mat cutter. And so to use this, you'll have to talk to a teacher because we keep it stashed away in the closet separate from the other mat makers. When you open the mat maker, as long as everyone keeps things straight, what you're going to find is a few things. So the thing that I'm going to be using right now is these spacers that I cut for you to use. And basically what these spacers will do is they'll give you kind of a visual to help you see how much mat board space could go between two artworks as kind of like a pane in between. So I did make a couple different sizes. You could certainly use a different size from what's here. But I'm hoping that these will stay in with the mat maker as visual aids for you. And so I have them in 1.5 inches, 2 inches, 3 inches, and 4 inches. While I don't think you'll end up putting a larger gap between artworks, it might be nice to see, because this will be multiple artworks in one mat, what a thicker mat would look like as opposed to our typical 2 inches around and 2.5 at the bottom. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to measure my artworks to get a sense of how I'm going to do my sketch. In addition to measuring my artworks, then I need to pick the size of what I want the panes to be between them when they're matted together. So the visual aid that I created for you, what you can do is you can put the artworks kind of next to each other, and I'm actually going to put these pretty close, almost like overlapping, just to check out and see what the 1.5 measure looks like. And so I can start to kind of look at, okay, do I want to crop them a little bit with the window mat, or do I want to show some of the edge of the piece? Because these are Citrusolv transfers, I have a little bit of a bleeded edge, which I kind of like, and so I might want to leave a little bit of the edge of the piece show past the pane of the mat. It's really up to you. And then I can go with the 1.5 between the artworks. I could go with 2, which spaces them out a little bit more. I could go with 3, although that ends up really spacing them out. Because they're smaller works, and when I measured them, they're about like 5 by 7.5 is what I want each window to be. Because they're similar in size, and because I want to show the bleeded edge on the pieces, I decided to keep them consistently for the windows as 5 by 7.5 inches. But again, that's still a smaller size work, and so I think I'm going to stick for my panes to either 1.5 inches between or 2 inches. And I'm actually thinking, because they're all really connected in theme, these photos, these Citrusolv transfers that I'm adding together, I think I'm going to go with the 1.5 inches for the pane. Okay, so now that I know the width of the pane, I know the width of the photos, I need to think about the height of the pane that's going to go between the 2 stacked photos as well. And I think to keep it consistent, I might go with 1.5, but I might also go, I could go with a little bit more, because they are, while they're photos all taken at the same place, the 2 series are a little bit different. These all have a smaller baby in them, and then these have a toddler. So I could end up splitting them a little bit with a thicker pane. I could put this between these 2 that are side by side, and then I could take the 2 inch and put it here. And actually, I do kind of like that. So now that I know the spacing, I know the size of each of the artworks, the next video I'm going to show you how to create a sketch, so then you can start to measure out the perimeter of your overall mat and then start to sketch in where each of the pieces will go within that mat.